Hello and welcome to the Sunday, August 15th edition of Baby Talk. I'm your host, Peter Thomas Fornatow, back with you. Funny thing that happened today, just the way the schedule worked out. We bookend the day with recordings of Baby Talk. We're recording this on Friday. We did the Saturday show first thing in the morning. We close out the workday with a look at these Sunday races, which I've had the pleasure of grinding on throughout the day today. And to talk about them here with me, we bring in from Gainesway, Sean Tugel. Sean, how was your day?
Hot, Pete, but we're ready to knock out these Sunday baby races and pretty big day of racing across the country with a lot of juvenile races. So they look pretty exciting.
Follow baby races. This is a good day to be paying attention to with a couple of stakes at Ellis Park, and of course, your typical in a good way Saratoga Fair as well. But we're going to start off on the West Coast, going in a little bit of reverse order that we typically do on these shows. 7:12 Eastern is race number 5 on Sunday at Del Mar. We've got 2-year-old maiden fillies going a mile on the turf. One caught my eye in here, Sean, but I want to hear what you think is going to happen.
Well, the horse Helen's Well coming over, first-time starter for Phil D'Amato, being from the Kodiak sire line. Looks like an interesting horse. A lot of times these agents that are able to pick out the horses from Europe, especially the ones that look like they might like firm going and send them over here. They tend to run pretty well, especially 2-year-olds. So Phil D'Amato's had success with Euros coming over here with 1 or 2 starts under the belts. You get a top jockey in Rispoli. I would think this horse is well meant. Certainly the Tappet Homebred for Ellen J. Foxwoods is another one with Flavian Prat and Hall of Famer Rich Mandela. She's a half-sister to Dog Tag, who's a multiple grade stakes place filly on the turf. So the pedigree suggests this filly should also like the 2 turns around the turf.
That was the one I was going to mention. Hemmerly for the Ellen J. Foxwoods team. Not easy to win going this distance first out, but one trainer that I think can probably do it better than the average trainer is Richard Mandela. And you talked about the pedigree on this gray. Can't wait to get to see this one in the flesh, but certainly by Tappet and with that turf pedigree on the dam side, looks to take a lot of beating. The other one you mentioned, number 3, Helen's Well, certainly makes sense. The D'Amato barn having an uncharacteristically cold start to the Del Mar meet, but I suppose that's possible to change at any time. Sean likes at 3-5. I'm going to just try to stick with the 5 in this 5th race at Del Mar on Sunday. Let's talk about Ellis Park, my friend, and we'll go right to 2-year-old filly stakes action with $125,000 in the pot, going 7 furlongs in the Run Happy Ellis Park Debutante Stakes. I was pretty intrigued by number 4, Very Little Sense, really a pace angle here. I suppose the question is, can this one stretch out from the 5 to the 7? But being by Golden Sense out of an arch mare, I was thinking Very Little Sense made all the sense in the world, being able to put the sword to this field early. What did you like in here?
I'd have to agree with you that if Very Little Sense runs back to the last maiden breaking victory, 70 buyer, winning by 2.5, looks like that could be a winning race in this field as well. I was taken kind of by the outside horse, Chopin Drive, Super Saver over Distorted Humor Mare. That's the same breeding as Happy Saver, last season's Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup winner, and certainly a leading horse to win the Jockey Club Gold Cup again this year. That pedigree and that mating has worked extremely well. The fact that they are taking a shot here in this stakes race, even as a maiden, tells me that the horse must be doing well. Definitely, I think the 7 furlongs would be in this horse's advantage as well with the pedigree play. So I was interested here. Obviously, I think you're going to have a heavy favorite, but interested on the outside horse, and I'm even going to give the coach on the inside there at the rail. The Mohamans have been running well. This horse has already had 2 starts, one first time out, came back and ran a decent race in a non-2 lifetime. So having had 2 races under its belt, that horse could also make a move and be very live to fill the exacto trifecta.
If I held your feet to the fire, would the 4 Very Little Sense be your top pick, or would you pick one of the prices?
I'd have to probably go with Very Little Sense as my top pick.
So we're in consensus there. Let's talk about the boys division of this race. The Run Happy Ellis Park Juvenile Stakes still that same 125 in the pot, still 7 furlongs on the dirt. And Sean, we'll keep it with you.
Yeah, well, certainly, gun runner, freshman sire this season. I believe he's the leading freshman sire. He's been on a tear with several stakes winners here in the past several weekends. So the Costa Terra, the Winchell homebred out of the Tappet mare Teardrop, certainly the 7 furlongs won't be an issue for this horse's pedigree. I was also intrigued by Lucky Boss, the street boss of Kitty McPeak's. This horse is actually cutting back from 1 mile off the turf race. So I do kind of like that angle, always like horses cutting back. And that horse also has speed. So having speed over this track already and cutting back an extra furlong, I find that horse quite interesting.
I'm interested to see how the 7 Candy Landing runs. Just on pace figures, has a chance to be very forward, has that maiden win to build off of. Obviously, it all went wrong in the Sanford, but that was pretty serious form. This is surely an easier group. I don't love the 5-2, but I wonder if that price has a chance to drift up on Candy Landing. I would make Costa Terra my top pick as well for the attributes that you mentioned. Bet on debut, tremendous pedigree, tremendous trainer who's hot at Ellis Park. I'm going to call it 4-7. Do you give the 7 any count here?
Certainly, if it comes back to the maiden victory, but there's such a disappointing race in its last. I do agree that probably it will be a drop in class. Has a nice draw to the outside. I would definitely think it's going to drift up from 5-2, but that might be because the other horses are much liver than this horse. So I don't know if the horse drifting up is a good sign to play the horse.
It's always tricky in these baby races trying to separate the signal from the value when a horse goes off over the morning line. This one, to me, based on how bad that effort was, though, I'd be okay. I wouldn't. 5-2 would be too short, but definitely one I'd use as an exacta partner if you get the 3-1, 7-2, or a little bit better. Let's talk about race number 9 at Ellis Park. We've got a 2-year-old maiden for the Colts going 1 mile on the turf. Who do you like in here, Sean?
Well, certainly Brendan Walsh, his first time out, 2-year-olds have been very live, especially for the Godolphin connections. I landed there. I like Hot Barnes. It has a bullet work of 35-1 out of the gate. I like that, putting a little bit of speed into it. And the freshman Sire Stern has had some nice winners already, being out of a Street Cry mare. It's definitely bred for the turf. So for a pedigree angle, this horse definitely is bred for the surface. I also like the Declaration of War, kind of the same angle. Al Stahl is very capable with first-time starters, and the horse looks like it's breezing well coming into this race. So those 2 horses would be my top picks. I also think Western River towards the outside, the Tappet, full brother to Creator. Rudolph's horses always tend to move forward after a race under their belt. I do think they always wanted to get this horse on the turf at some point. Obviously, the last race was rained off, so I think the horse is on the surface they want the horse on, and I think you should see an improvement in this horse as well. So I do like the 2 first-time starters, but I think the improvement with the Tappet horse on the outside, and possibly Joe Sharp being live with the Keen Ice, who is a freshman sire and has also had several winners, including on the turf.
So a lot of different ways to go in there. I've got your full run as 6, 8, 9, and 1. And I'll tell you what, I'll mention 2 other ones. I was a little bit interested in the 3 Golden Purchase. We've talked before about Ken McPeak doing well with 2-year-olds going longer on the grass. This one has an interesting pedigree by Golden Sense out of the Galileo mare Ransomed Heart. And then if the 11 manages to sneak in off the AEs, the Twirling Candy for Brad Cox, it's interesting. Timeform US actually flags up that the Cox first-time starters at Ellis Park haven't been doing that well, which I thought was a little bit interesting. But this is a runner with obvious claims if he were to sneak in this spot. Lots of different ways to go there. Let's go back east. Let's come to right down the block from where each of us are sitting right now and talk a little bit of Saratoga, Sean, starting with their second race on Sunday. I was fairly master of the obvious here, I think, with number 10, Flip the Script. To me, looks like a pedigree being by Temple City. Should enjoy the turf, I'm hoping. And based on pace figures, and the aggressive rider in Saez could lead them in this spot. Flip the Script was my top selection in here. I had a couple others to mention, but I want to get your buy-in first.
Pete, certainly can't disagree with Flip the Script. Trying to get on turf here with the Temple City pedigree. Certainly looks like the play, but definitely the outside post is always a concern. Going to that first turn, if you're hung wide, the Dr. Jeff race, we'll see how that kind of comes back to support Flip the Script. I was actually taken more towards the inside in Ansel. Bill Mott, second-time starter, the Blame out of the Midnight Loot Mare. Ran a nice race at Saratoga. I think that was opening weekend and should improve. I would say Ortiz here for Joe Sharp coming out of a restricted race. Looks like maybe just put a race into it. Maybe wants to get it onto the turf. So there's got to be some angle here that IRAD has shown up on this horse, and looking for a big play that could blow up the tote board. This could certainly be one.
I like that idea. King of Sting, Sean's clever idea in race number 2. And your whole run, I'm going to call it 5, 7, 10. Does that sound about right?
Sounds right on.
I like it. You're going 5, 7, 10. I was a little bit interested in another runner in here as well. And of course, I lose my notes because nothing can go smoothly for us when we're rushing to get a show done at the end of the day. But I saw some angles on the 9 and the 6 as well. The 9, Kiss the Sky, had a dirt run that was a route, caught money. The idea of following whatever Mike Maker decides to do at this point doesn't seem like a crazy idea. I don't hate the idea of having the 9 on side. And the 6, Never Say No, comparatively exposed, but I thought was one that might go better from a little bit off the pace and certainly has some notable bloodline. So I was going to list it as 10, 9, and 6 in the second race at Saratoga. Let's move on, though, to the final race that we're going to talk about on this show. Also at Saratoga, we've got 2-year-old action going in race number 5. We're back on the dirt, going 6 furlongs for fillies. Who do you like in here, my friend?
Well, you kind of get taken straight to Tap and Glow, who's really run 2 winning races so far, and certainly has put up a buyer speed figure that can win this race. My top choice is going to be the Jester Calls Joe, Todd Pletcher, McLean's Music. Looks like some solid works out of the gate coming into this race. Big fan of McLean's Music. Looks like he's loaded to be a top sire down the road over the next several years with the mares that he's getting. But obviously positive some that the pricey in the shift 2-year-old for Chad Brown and Clairvich Stables. You're still kind of waiting for a big popping main special weight winner on the dirt for this group. So this could certainly be that one as well. But I just was leaning a little bit more towards the Pletcher barn in this situation, if you can beat the favorite in the 2-hole.
I was thinking, even though Tap and Glow's runs have been rock solid, that one of these firsters might be able to step up. I was with you. I also went with the 4, Jester Calls, No Joy. You mentioned the case being by McLean's Music and trained by Todd Pletcher, but also just this work tab looks really fast to me. So I think the 4 is the right top pick in this spot. I was also going to mess around maybe with the 9, Celestial. Worked very well the other day, just looking at the tab. Precocious pedigree, solid firster sire and Quality Road, and a dam that's dropped 3 winners from 3 starters, 2 of whom won at 2. And then Midnight Stroll, the 5, another fantastic firster sire and Not This Time, and a flashy 5 furlong work to go along with it. So I was actually going to try to beat the presumptive favorite with the experience and try to get through here 4, 9, and 5. Obviously more clues to come from the tote board and the paddock in this spot. Any other thoughts for you, Sean, on this race or anything else going on this good-looking Sunday of racing?
I don't disagree with you with Celestial there. Bill Mott's, it seems like his 2-year-olds have been running pretty well this meet. Just ready to get these New York breds bought over at the sale. We got 3 good horses that we're selling in the Gainesway consignment. We were leading consigner there at the Open Select sale. We won't be the leading consigner at this one, not with only 3, but 3 quality horses. And if you're looking for a rock solid racehorse, you know where to find one.
Oh yeah, that there's no doubt about it. Can't wait to hear back from you about how the New York bred sale went. We'll check back in on our picks as well. Maybe next time we'll do a little update on the first year sires and how that's been developing as the summer continues to unwind here up at Saratoga. Good stuff, Sean. Appreciate you putting in all the effort today, and we'll be back with another episode of Baby Talk soon. That's going to do it for this edition of the show. We'll thank our presenting sponsors, Gainesway. We'll thank Sean Tugel. We'll thank all of you out there for listening and viewing. If you're a listener to the show, you can check out our YouTube channel. And there's a lot of good content on there, including a bunch of episodes of Baby Talk and some other fun stuff you might not have seen. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you go to inthemoneypodcast.com or subscribe to In the Money Media's feed wherever you get your podcasts. This show's been a production of In the Money Media. Our business manager is Drew Coatney. Our chief creative officer is Jonathan Kitchen. I'm Peter Thomas Fornatal. May the hammer drop your way.